My Lord, allow me to tell you a story. When I was a child, my grandmother told me that she always had this strange feeling that God was a woman. She said this despite her strong Christian beliefs. Every time I lost a fight against one of my brothers and ran to her crying, she would say, "Do not cry, my child, for you're closer to God than him." When she was dying in her sickbed, she told me that I was blessed to be a woman, for I was an image of God, and that one day would participate in the sacred duty of creation, while my brothers, on the other hand, would only provide a catalyst to creation and observe the rest of the process from a distance. My grandmother saw divinity in motherhood. To her, the scream of a woman in the maternity ward was the epitome of everything that was holy in human life. The child caused so much pain in the woman as it was being born. Yet the woman forgot the pain and forgave the suffering, and instead summoned boundless love for the child. Hence the scream of a woman in the maternity ward is a scream of pain and a shout of joy. On the other hand, how many men would be able to love and love so deeply the perpetrator of their pain? If men were able to forgive, even in half a measure of what motherhood demands of a woman, I'm telling you, this world would have been a much better place to live in. My Lord, my client was sexually harassed by the respondent. He took advantage of his wealth, power, and manhood. To him, she was just a sum of several body parts he could use in any way he saw fit at any time he wished. When the child was born, he took it away from her. Again, taking advantage of his wealth, power, and manhood. Now, he wants to keep the child forever, denying my client her God-given right to motherhood. My Lord, manhood has power, machismo, and fire. It destroys, it conquers, and it burns. While on the other hand, all motherhood has to show is a scream in the maternity ward. But that scream, my Lord, heralds the beginning of another life. That scream is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. The greatest strength that God gave to the human race. The strength to create, the strength to forgive, and the strength to love. This case, my Lord, is about motherhood. It is motherhood that made a naive housemaid challenge a lawyer and run away from the hospital when educated doctors were preparing for an abortion. It is motherhood that made my client realize that she had a real human being inside her, a human being she wanted born and be part of the human race, instead of vanishing in the hospital records as mere statistics. It is motherhood that has urged my client to bring us into this court today and claim what is rightfully hers. Counsel for the respondent has persistently tried to depict my client as a conniving and trickery character who tried to seduce and sexually trap Mr. Kalila. Even if for one moment we were to accept such a totally misleading description of my client, let us give her due credit for standing up for the sanctity of life. About 3,000 years ago, a Jewish king called Solomon was faced with an almost similar case of child custody. In what has come to be known as one of the wisest judgments in recorded history, King Solomon awarded child custody to the mother who was more than willing to lose the child but preserve its life. The wise king recognized motherhood. My Lord, I submit that it is the noble calling of this court to uphold my client's divine right to her motherhood and let her have her child. Here I rest my case.